Hello. Welcome to a video that describes how to put fees into a project finance model. Okay. This is the exercise number 11, isn't it? Okay. And in this exercise, we're going to take the model we ended up with before, which had the debt sizing. Still doesn't have the functions in for the debt sizing. It has the goal seek technique, which is not very good, but we're going to add the fees for a commitment fee. And remember, a commitment fee is the fee you pay on the amount of money you do not borrow during the construction phase, and the upfront fee, which is the fee you pay at the financial close. Okay, and we're going to add the fees to the construction debt down here. When we add the fees to the construction debt, we're going to also have to include the fees if they are paid during construction. We'll have to add them to this. Now the interest during construction came from L96, which, we should have really put the interest paid during construction. Perhaps we'll even fix that one. No, perhaps we will. And then we'll have to include the amortization on the fees for tax purposes in the remainder of the analysis. Okay, so that's those are some of the subjects we will cover. Remember, on the funding, we had a little thing for capitalizing the interest here. Why don't we do this silly little gimmick where we put a little checkbox here. All the checkbox does, it tells you that you can adjust the true and false input. So I went to another sheet, back to the same sheet, and I hate that this does this. Okay, why you can't type over it is not quite understandable for me, but okay. So why don't we begin? Let's begin by just computing the fees themselves, and let's begin by the simple one, which is the upfront fee, because that's paid only once, but we need a switch for when we're upfront. So often in the models you see this financial close switch, and let's make the financial close simply we really have to adjust the assumptions here. Let's make the financial close switch I suppose it really should be the model start date in this case, but we have to be really theoretically should be a little more careful about that, and just make this equal to that one. I'm getting a little better at the F4 key, I hope. Shift Control R, does that still work? Yes. Oof. Okay, and then and how about this? Does this work? Shift Control T, Shift Control, F, nope, Shift Control F, yes, okay, so, I guess my Shift Control T didn't work as well as I thought it did. Alright, and then let's, put fees in here, and then first, why don't we, I should upfront fee. Now, I don't think we have the debt commitment here, and so I might as well put it in here. The debt commitment is the applied debt, or we have it from here, and I think we can just have it here, and fee percent is up here, and this is really almost too simple to do, but we just press the F4 on this fee, multiply this by the amount of our debt commitment, and multiply that by our switch for our financial close. Okay. Shift. Oh no, the shift control 1 went a little funny. That's bad news. Okay, well, shift control R. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, well, I don't know what happened here. I'm not going to waste any more time on this. And then for the commitment fee, that's a little bit trickier in a few different ways. First, we need to compute the undrawn balance. And to get that, we can, let's put the commitment again. And then let's put this time the fee percent, but we should be a little bit careful with this one, because this one, unlike the other one that just got applied one single time, this thing gets applied every single month, so we have a smaller amount. I press Shift Control P and it finally worked. Oh, finally. Okay, so let's take the undrawn balance, which is the commitment fee we have, minus the opening balance of our construction debt. And I'm worried now perhaps this formula will get a little bit long, and let's press the commitment fee. I don't think that's so bad. And then we also have to only do this over the construction period. After the construction period, our commitment fee goes away. So do we have a construction period switch? Okay, and horrible. Okay, Shift Control R, and that's our commitment fee, and the commitment fee eventually goes down. Hopefully it doesn't go down below 0. And I suppose it went to 0 once we fully borrowed the debt. So those are our two fees. Okay. Now we're not finished, unfortunately, with the analysis of the fees. There are a couple of things. We put interest capitalized here and interest during construction. So the difference really should have been interest paid. Okay, and that's this minus this, and this is the number that should have really gone. Now, let's just make interest capitalized. That came from down here. Interest paid should have been what we should have added in interest during construction, not the interest capitalized. And we'll make the same thing for the fees, okay? Because the funding needs depend on whether we're paying them or not. And now when we let's check the input. We just worked on. It said capital, and why don't we really, think it would be very common if you capitalize the interest, you'd also capitalize the fees. Okay? And then we'll just put the fees capitalized just like we did before, and then add another line for the fees paid. Okay, and the fees capitalized, we can just put a switch, our switch here, and go up and get that. Okay, I strongly still, even though it looks a little messy, I suppose you could hide these columns if you really didn't like them, but I still think they're good. I hope you agree. And multiply that by the sum of the fees. Why don't we do that? Okay. And so if we can, if we wanted to capitalize the fees, we could temporarily put this down here. It's probably not a really good idea. It messes up the model a little. It's not that bad. Then all these fees go into the debt balance. Okay, so we go over here and we add the capitalized fees as well as the capitalized interest, and then up here I didn't fill in the fees paid, but it'll be the sum of these two minus this. We could have done it 5 different ways, and then we put the fees during construction as part of our funding needs. Okay, and then here, this is a little bit different now. The fees that we put in, the interest that we put in construction, we should leave that. And the fees during construction should be the sum of the 2 lines of fees, and that doesn't depend on whether we capitalize it or we don't capitalize it. And what I just did won't work because we have those lines. Shift Control R and Shift Control R. Okay, I suppose we could have done it with the next 2. So those are fees during construction. We still need to add the debt service reserve account, which is another kind of problem, and I think we're okay, except for one little other thing. Now we can redo this one, and why don't we copy this to here? Okay, and we can see if we want to. We can call this debt to capital or something. Oh, God. Okay, and that didn't quite work. Okay, this calls for a stop it. Okay, I just put the debt to capital thing here. And you know what you could do with this one, even if you're a little fancier. Remember the assign macro, this was goalseek 1. Oh, I guess, well, I'm not going to do that. You could assign a macro to this thing, just like you assign the macro to the other thing. We'd have to almost assign both macros. Let's get back to the fees, and let's finish up the fees. And the last thing to do is to add. Remember, the fees better not affect the project IRR whatsoever. And that means the amortization on the fees and everything else shouldn't affect it. So let's put opening fee balance add the fees during construction, put our closing balance, put an amortization rate, and then let's put an amortization expense. Okay, and the only trick is knowing what the tax law will allow in terms of the amortization rate. Let's put the tenor of the debt as a rate. I've heard you might be able to amortize these over 5 years in some places because refinancing occurs so often. And if the tenor is 17, you would take 1 divided by this 17, and that's not quite right because that gives you your annual rate. You better adjust that by 12. Okay, that's our rate, and there's going to be a little bit of an issue here. So the tiny little bit of an issue. Opening balance is equal to the closing balance. Fees are from the things we just computed above, which are the upfront and the it said undrawn balance. I'm sorry about that. Where was this? It should have said commitment fee. I would say commitment fee on undrawn balance. Okay, and then let's alternate equal. I'm gonna make a macro for shit. This sucks. Okay, and then our amortization rate is this opening balance multiplied by this rate, but first it does not begin until the construction period is finished. So even though that's wrong, let's okay, let's get that right. Now I think, did we not have a we had a debt repayment switch, so we can, I think that might actually work if we just do it over the debt repayment period. Okay, and so let's just multiply this one by the debt repayment switch. Now, if you divided it by 5 and had a shorter amortization period, what I often do is, oh, come on. Okay, and we can put accumulated amortization. Sorry about that last thing. I put it all in one line, which is this plus this. And it better be the case that by the time you're finished, the accumulated amortization should, that should have equaled the balance. Okay, it's time for a call. All right, I did make a mistake. This should have been divided by 2 because remember we're not doing this on a monthly basis. The other thing I fixed in the little interlude was that the debt funding should be based on the debt without capitalized interest, but the total debt commitment should include the capitalized interest. So if we click off of this, we get a different Great. Okay. Excuse me for this. I had a circular reference here, and I think we're going to have to add a whole other video. You're going to have to look in the other circular reference page for all the circular references. But this video is meant to focus on the fees, and the circular references are really the nightmare of these project finance models. And I'm just going to stop, not even advertise, because I'm a little embarrassed about this one.